Welcome to the first Love 101 FM Town Hall Meeting. For the past few months, we have sat and listened to you, listened to the experts, and watched many interviews and presentations. Read just as many options, opinions, reports from all corners of the globe, and numerous findings, so called conspiracies, facts, and revelations on the COVID 19 vaccine. And we here at Love 101 came to the conclusion that too many of us are, with obvious reason, just plain confused, or just have to come our own decisions with faulty, not enough, or incomplete information. So we here at Love 101 decided that it was time to bring all the beliefs, teachings, and thoughts onto one stage. Somewhere that as much as of information as possible can be presented, and questions with the intention of providing clarity, especially for those who need it. Hi, I'm your host, Shivani Blair, and it's my pleasure to guide you through the program this evening. All of you listening on radio, watching on YouTube and Facebook Live, welcome. Good to have you. But guess what? I'm not alone. With me as moderator is Derval Graham. Hey, Derval, how are you? Welcome. Great. Well, I'm not hearing Derval. I see his mouth moving. Right. So I really. Well, this evening, or in our town hall meeting, we're focusing on the COVID 19 vaccine itself and the taking of it or not. We'll hear the views of those from the medical fraternity for and against, the religious community for and against, and from persons we feel are representative of your voices and others on behalf of particular concerns or interests. Derval will introduce you to them as the program progresses. Love 101 FM as an entity has not taken a position on whether to accept or refuse the vaccine, as we believe that persons need to make up their own minds. So the views and expressions you will hear tonight are totally and fully of those who make them. We have a full night ahead, 2 hours of discussion, but you'll find it runs out pretty quickly. So get ready to participate. Here's what we have planned. You ready? For the first part of the program, our special presenters will get 4 minutes each to share their views on the vaccine and the taking or not taking of it. After that, our probers will question and examine the main presenter's statements for clarity and more information, as well as introduce and start discussion on important, even forgotten, related concerns and issues. We also want to hear from you, our audience, so we invite you to post your comments and questions across the various platforms, talking about YouTube and Facebook, and that's Love 101 FM Jamaica. And we're also using the hashtag Love 101 COVID 19 or Love 101 Town Hall. Invite you to send messages via our text line, that's the WhatsApp line. You can send a message or a voice note to 876 997 3125. And please, voice notes, keep them short so we can get in as many as possible. You do understand, right? Let's take our first break. We go together all the way until 9:30. When we come back, you'll hear from Derval as he introduced to you the special presenters, please.
Hello.
Hello?
Goodbye.
Goodbye? What are you doing?
I'm saying hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry.
Oh, I'd like to say that too.
Well, with Guardian Life's new ultimate provider, you can secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness ahead of time and benefit from their investment portfolio too.
Wow, so it's hello peace of mind.
And goodbye worry with Guardian Life's new ultimate provider. For more information, contact 888-367-5433 or talk to one of our representatives. Guardian Life. Live secure. Live
Manchester Cooperative Credit Union has been serving the parish of Manchester for over 70 years. Since then, our products and services have evolved to suit your changing needs. You've made us your choice as a sound financial partner, and today we stand proud of our achievements, satisfied members, and a name that is respected across the industry. Thank you, Manchester, for making us your financial institution of choice. Not yet a member? Come on board with us. We are Manchester Cooperative Credit Union, where service exceeds expectation.
Another exciting show awaits you this World of Worship Wednesday, March 31. 2 o'clock will be a prayer blast feature. At 2:15 will feature Chandler Moore, a worship artist of the day. At 3 p.m., the exciting radio drama series Conflict of Passion is back. You don't want to miss the unfolding truth. All this and more will come alive on the family station of 101.
Welcome back to Love 101 FM Town Hall Meeting on the COVID-19 vaccine. Will you be taking the COVID-19 vaccine? Yes? No? Not sure? Need more information? We've got you. This is Love 101 FM Town Hall Meeting, where all views will contend. A presentation start right now as I hand you over to your moderator, Derville Graham.
Thank you, Shivani, and good evening. If you missed it the first time, well, we're glad to have you as we get into this topic. We have two groups with us this evening, our main presenters and our probers. Our probers, our main presenters are Dr. Lucien Jones, Dr. Roger Hunter, Evangelist Hurley Taylor, and Bishop Conrad Pitkin. Our probers are Carol Narcisse, Astor Black, Anthony Williams, Shanique Rowe, Chad Rattray, and Angelique Cohen. Remember, this is not a debate, but a forum for sharing and explaining the various perspectives on the stated theme of COVID vaccine, to take or not to take, hopefully to provide sufficient clarity upon which you will be able to make an informed decision. Each of the main presenters have 4 minutes to speak. Our first presenter is Dr. Lucien Jones, family physician and lay preacher in the Anglican Church. Dr. Jones, good evening. Shivani, I think you need to come in here at this moment. We're waiting for Dr. Jones, who is going to make the first presentation in this evening's town hall here on Love 101 FM.
Hello?
Yes, Dr. Jones, we're hearing you now. It's your turn to tell us what you've got.
Thank you very much. The COVID-19 cases have been exploding over the last month or so. And we've been seeing patients for about a year now. And only by the grace of God, we have survived not getting COVID. Patients have died. Patients have been hospitalized. We have husband and wife, one in hospital, one out of hospital. Friends have died. One fireman spent a night in hospital recently on a chair, no bed. Friends had to organize a bed for him. So thank God we got the vaccine 2 weeks ago, myself and my entire staff. And the data which I got from WHO just today, dated I think the 16th of March, showed that the clinical trials demonstrated that after vaccination with a single shot, you can reach an efficacy as high as 76% and measured up to 22 days after the vaccination. So it takes a while for the vaccine to work, 22 days after. And more importantly, based on what is happening now with the difficulty getting vaccines, the WHO is recommending that based on unpublished mathematical modeling, when the supply is very limited, vaccinating more people in the highest priority population group with 1 dose, as opposed to vaccinating half that number with 2 doses, would substantially increase the number of deaths prevented if the 1 dose vaccine efficacy holds. The second point I want to make that in medicine, as in other disciplines, the best person to advise on specific issue is the one who has undergone specialized training in that discipline. So we depend on the wisdom and expertise of the well-known and proven public health specialists like Dr. Peter Figueroa and the CMO. The second best person to advise the doctors is the pulmonologist in respect of COVID, because the danger really is the lung disease. There are other illnesses, but the primary one that everybody's afraid of. And of course, the third one is your tried and trusted family physician, who has guided your decisions about your health care for many years. I want to make the point that Google is not your best friend. Stop listening to Google and your WhatsApp messages. Listen to your family doctor. And more importantly, don't listen to those who don't have training in public health. It's wonderful to have well-qualified surgeons and well-qualified physicians in other disciplines. But when you want to get public health advice, you go to a trusted public health specialist, not those who are very good at what they do, very brilliant, have good training, but they don't have any training in public health. And I'm saying this to say that we need to get together in this country and get vaccinated, not only to protect ourselves, but to protect your neighbor. If you're a Christian like me, loving your neighbor is one of the commands that our Lord rested upon us. And if you love your neighbor, you want this coronavirus to go away. And if you want this coronavirus to go away, then 70% of Jamaicans need to get vaccinated. I want to address a couple of points in regards some difficulties and challenges which have been shown with the vaccine, and people are justifiably worried. One of them recent is the question of blood clots and what happened in Europe when many countries stopped vaccinating with the AstraZeneca vaccine. The latest response from the WHO is as follows: that the European Medicines Agency, which is tantamount to the FDA in America, has reviewed the latest data and concludes that the benefits of AstraZeneca vaccine in combating the widespread threat of COVID-19 continues to outweigh the risk of side effects. The vaccine is not associated, repeat, not associated with an increase in the overall risk of blood clots in those who receive the vaccine. There is no evidence. This is a WHO document, which I got from a public health specialist, no better than Dr. Carissa Etienne, who is the head of PAHO. And therefore, this is to be taken as gospel, certainly in respect of public health. So far, more than 20 million people have received this vaccine in Europe and UK. And of those vaccinated, 7 cases, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out of the 20 million of DIC, which is a kind of bleeding disorder, and 18 cases of a blood clot in your brain have been reported in Europe, highlighting the rare nature of this disease. Finally, I want to say as a Christian, I want to deal with some of the dopey stories going around. One is that the vaccine is a mark of the beast. That is foolishness. And one of the things that's going to kill us in this country is bad theology and ignorance. And anybody who's advocating that the vaccine is a mark of the beast doesn't understand the Bible and doesn't understand the God of the Bible, who gave people the wisdom to understand science and to use the science for the best purposes of mankind. The second one is that there's a chip that is being introduced in the vaccine. That is foolishness. I took the vaccine 2 weeks ago, no such thing. So I want to debunk those stories, please.
Okay, we heard that from Dr. Jones, just a medical doctor. And just recapping, he said that we must depend on professional advice by those who are qualified to give it in public health. We must stop listening to misinformation, much of it on social media, Google, and we should consider taking the vaccine. That's what he's saying. In order for us to achieve the herd immunity that we need in the country, it means that we need to take regard for neighbors, and not just ourselves. And therefore, we will decide in favor of taking the vaccine. That's his position. We'll hear the position and perspective of other people as the evening progresses. For now, I'll hand you back to Shanique.
watching base and seeing they're watching. We take our first break. Where we come back, more on the COVID-19 vaccine.
Hello.
Hello?
Goodbye.
Goodbye? What are you doing?
I'm saying hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry.
Oh, I'd like to say that too.
Well, with Guardian Life's new ultimate provider, you can secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness ahead of time and benefit from their investment portfolio too.
Wow, so it's hello peace of mind.
And goodbye worry with Guardian Life's new ultimate provider. For more information, contact 888-367-5433 or talk to one of our representatives. Guardian Life. Live secure. Live.
Manchester Cooperative Credit Union has been serving the parish of Manchester for over 70 years. Since then, our products and services have evolved to suit your changing needs. You've made us your choice as a sound financial partner, and today we stand proud of our achievements, satisfied members, and a name that is respected across the industry. Thank you, Manchester, for making us your financial institution of choice. Not yet a member? Come on board with us. We are Manchester Cooperative Credit Union, where service exceeds expectation.
This is a special announcement from Love 101 and Love Television. Our general offices will be closed to the public at 12 noon on Holy Thursday, April 1 through to Easter Monday, April 5, and will reopen on Tuesday, April 6 at 8:30 a.m. Programs and commercials for the period Friday, April 2 through to Tuesday, April 6 should be submitted by 9 a.m. on Thursday, April 1, and obituaries and notices by 10 a.m. on the same day to ensure scheduling for broadcast. Love 101 and
19 vaccine. So we're back from the first official break, the second one exactly. What's your concern on the COVID-19 vaccine? We invite you to post your comments and questions on the topic. Yes, Love 101 COVID-19 vaccine, or by calling us on the studio lines at 9688327 or 9688328 using the hashtag when you interact with us on social media, Love 101 FM Town Hall. Remember, voice notes must be short when you do hit us up on that line, 876-997-3125. Let's go back to Dorval Graham, our moderator.
All right, thank you so much, Chevy, and good evening to our listeners and viewers. We are discussing, of course, the vaccine aspect of COVID-19, whether you should take it or not. We're not making up your mind for you. We're giving you as much information as we can so that you can make up your mind as to whether you should take it or not. We heard before the break from Dr. Lucien Jones, and he is for the vaccine. Now, I'd like to introduce our second presenter. He is Evangelist Hurley Taylor. He's an itinerant preacher and a Bible teacher. Evangelist, it's your turn to state your case.
Thanks a lot, Dorval, and good evening to our guests, panelists, and viewers from Jamaica and all across the world. I start with a little disadvantage, not having had the privilege of hearing all of Dr. Lucien Jones's presentation, as I was late into the room because of a little technical kerfuffle. But thanks be to Almighty God, we're here, and just like to thank Love 101 and my family and all those who have encouraged me along the line. I'd like to express sympathies with those who are afflicted by the coronavirus 19 and condolences to those who have, those family members who have lost loved ones and friends and colleagues. I'd like to indicate that I do not speak for my church or my denomination. In fact, we are given freedom of thought and expression, but this matter, I believe, is where conscience dictates. And so far as I know, as a conference and as a denomination worldwide, we have not adopted any set position. I'm truly happy about that because Holy Spirit ought to lead in this case. I wouldn't call myself an anti-vaxxer at all. I'm not against vaccination. The truth is I've been vaccinated. And my family members have been, my children and relatives have been. We were vaccinated for MMR and other things. These were developed over time. Took the 10 to 15 years and careful clinical trials and all of that. Now, I'd like to indicate also that where this vaccine is concerned, the research that I've embarked on indicates that it is a bit horrid. That whereas development of a vaccine would have taken a minimum of 5 to 10 years. That is according to Dr. Jerome Kim. He's the Director General of the International Vaccine Institute. And he says 5 to 10 years. And others believe 10 to 15 years. I'm not getting into the science of it. The question that exercises my mind is that this technology is horrid. Only last year, the United States at its NIH website, National Institutes of Health website, indicated that vaccine trials, clinical part of it, would have started in March to this year, 13 months. And according to Dr. Jerome Kim, it's 5 to 10 years. Now we understand why there might be a little hurry, but it must raise red flags to us, to me, the user, the potential user. Is this not a little too horrid? I'm a baker of pudding and I love cornmeal pudding. And if I were to go and hurry it up because I'm late, I will be eating raw cornmeal and not tasty pudding that I love. Things must be proceed according to the time allowed. So what is happening also is that my understanding is that they will be using mRNA technology. And when the research that I've done indicates that the mRNA is really a modifier of our DNA. In other words, it is interfering with the basic building block that God has made us up. So that is another red flag. So therefore, as a child of God, and as one who is fearfully and wonderfully made, and the scriptures admonish that in Psalm 139 and verse 14, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Why modify me? The other thing is that Paul in his letter to the Corinthians indicated that I am the temple of the living God. 1 Corinthians 6 and verse 19. Therefore, in this temple, I must be very particular about what enters, as it might desecrate my temple. Some years ago, Derval, when we had this campaign in Jamaica and across the world about smoking and so on, the church, or the Protestant church anyway, had taken a position regarding smoking. It was not a position so much on the social disadvantages. It was a position based upon the ill health of it, and also because it seemed to desecrate the wonderful temple that God has made. We are created in God's image. Genesis 1, verse 26 and 27. And I know Jamaicans have two things at home if they have nothing else. They have a cell phone and they have a Bible. Even Badman, I understand, have a New Testament in his back pocket. So we can go to these scriptures and look at them. Genesis 1, 26 and 27, 1 Corinthians 6, 19, Psalm 139 and verse 14. And another scripture, Psalm 115 and verse 16. Humankind has been given the earth. The Bible says that the heavens belong to God, but we have the earth. And Psalm chapter 8, a lot of Rastafarians love to do this. Oh Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. But what does verse 5 says? For thou hast made mankind a little lower than the angels. And this part, and hast crowned him with glory and honor. Dare I put a messenger RNA in my body to modify my system, which God has fearfully and wonderfully made. But if we think that is a joke, the question is when that messenger RNA begins to modify the DNA, which is a basic structure of what the information that builds us up and makes proteins and mends and amends our bodies and so on. Who is going to turn it off after it has stopped, after it has begun its work? You see, in this process, their time has not been allowed for what the scientists call the VAERS, the vaccine adverse event reporting system to kick in, where you have a population of 80, 90 persons, and then you go into the thousands and so on, and then you make a record of what the ill effects, the side effects.
There we have Evangelist Hurley Taylor. I know he's very passionate about his particular position, and we've heard him loud and clear. He's concerned that the time that it has taken them to develop the vaccine is too short, and he's fearful that the technology that is being employed, the mRNA technology, might be injurious to the human body, which he considers to be sacred based upon the Bible. Well, we see what others have to say about that and anything else that relates to the impact of the vaccine as the evening progresses. For now, though, I'm going to invite you to listen to Dr. Roger Hunter. He's a consultant neurologist and spinal surgeon. Dr. Hunter? Are you there, Dr. Hunter? All right, seems Dr. Hunter is not quite ready for us. So we're going to hand you back to your host for the evening, Siobhan.
Thank you, Derville. Thank you so much. Let's take some comments on our platforms. Well, Marie says, today Berlin alone reported 31 cases of blood clots in people who took the vaccine. They suspended the AstraZeneca as a result. So the first presenter is not doing a research, he says. He's just reading WHO website. This one says, why do you need a vaccine if you have survived the virus? Before the vaccine became available, they were treating ill patients with stuff from survivors. All right, well, keep the conversation going. We'll take some more comments when we come back from the break using the hashtag LOVE101 Town Hall. I think we're heading back to Derville. Let's go back to Derville, then we'll come back with some more comments. Please stay with us.
Thank you, Siobhan. I'm hoping now that we have Dr. Roger Hunter. Are you there, Dr. Hunter? No, it seems that we don't have Dr. Hunter yet, so it's back to you, Siobhan.
All right, thanks, Derville. Let's take the break, sort things out, and come back.
It will be the final day and the final Wednesday inside the month of March. And you know what the man them dope on the last Wednesday? It's Mentegrity Wednesday inside the mailbox. Tune in this Wednesday, March 31 with host Pastor Courtney Morrison and yours truly, Kevin Bailey at 5:30 p.m. inside the mailbox with our Mentegrity guest, who is a father, husband, media practitioner, and adjunct lecturer, Brian Koff in the place. Be sure to tune in 5:30 p.m. this Wednesday, where he will unpack his story and share how he chose his family and his marriage over the glitter of his media career when he realized it wasn't gold.
It's All Things Integrity with Brian Koff. Inside the program designed for men with guests who are men, hosted by men. And it happens this Wednesday inside the mailbox, March 31 at 5:30 p.m. here on Love 101, the family station. Monday.
Listen for the Morning Watch Wednesday, March 31 at 7 a.m. with host Stokely Marshall. The topic of discussion, Jamaican laws under pressure. That's the Morning Watch Wednesday, March 31 at 7 a.m. with host Stokely Marshall on Love 101, the family station.
Hello.
Hello?
Goodbye.
Goodbye? What are you doing?
I'm saying hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry.
Oh, I'd like to say that too.
Well, with Guardian Life's new ultimate provider, you can secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness ahead of time and benefit from their investment portfolio too.
Wow, so it's hello peace of mind.
And goodbye worry with Guardian Life's new ultimate provider. For more information, contact 888-367-5433 or talk to one of our representatives. Guardian Life. Live secure. Live.
Manchester Cooperative Credit Union has been serving the parish of Manchester for over 70 years. Since then, our products and services have evolved to suit your changing needs. You've made us your choice as a sound financial partner, and today we stand proud of our achievements, satisfied members, and a name that is respected across the industry. Thank you, Manchester, for making us your financial institution of choice. Not yet a member? Come on board with us. We are Manchester Cooperative Credit Union, where service exceeds expectation.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. This is Love FM Town Hall Meeting. We're talking about the COVID-19 vaccine. If you have a strong opinion of the COVID-19 vaccine, this is where those views may be tested. Have you taken the COVID-19 vaccine? If not, why? Post your comments. Please let us know how you are feeling. Please hit us up on WhatsApp, 876-997-3125, or you may give us a call right here in studio live at 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. And if you're sending a voice note, ensure it's very short so we can get in as many as possible. Let's head back to Dorval on the other side.
Okay, now. Okay, Shivani, thank you so much, and thank you for staying with us. And we were expecting Dr. Hunter just a moment ago, and we'll have him on before the evening's out. I just want to bring that assurance to you. But for now, we're going to another presenter. It's Bishop Conrad Pitkin. Now, Bishop Pitkin is pastor of Faith Temple Assembly of God and also the custos of St. James. Good evening, Bishop.
Good evening, Derval, and good evening, Shivani, the other panelists, other persons involved, your viewers and your listeners. Let me also make a disclaimer that I do not speak for my denomination, the Assemblies of God, nor do I speak for the Jamaica Umbrella Groups of Churches, nor the Jamaica Association of Full Gospel Churches, all of which I'm a part of. I am an individual with an abiding care and love for the health and well-being of my fellow Jamaicans. Having said that, I will leave the scientific and medical aspect to the doctors in the house. Safe to say that I support the vaccine because it can by and large prevent hospitalization, lessen the possibility of death, and if at least 60% of Jamaicans take the vaccine, Jamaica could well develop herd immunity. From a biblical perspective, as a theologian, there is nothing in the Bible that says or speak to vaccine, whether we are to take vaccine or whether we are not to take vaccine. It is important that we look at scriptures and we understand the scriptures, whatever biblical perspective or theological base that we speak from. Even although I support the vaccine, and I said that I have also taken the vaccine, at the end of the day, it is an individual decision. And that decision should be based upon an informed position. So each person should take the vaccine from an informed position. So we should relate the truth as it is, that there's nowhere in scripture that would say that the vaccine is the mark of the beast or have any relationship with the mark of the beast or the Antichrist. My understanding is that the vaccine does not messes with one RNA. It is the DNA that sends message to the RNA how to deal with the virus if it affects the body, and how to develop the protein that is necessary within the body. But I leave that to the doctors in the house to speak about. My main issue here tonight is to debunk any thought that scripture speaks about or regarding vaccine. Also, we should understand that we believe fully that we are all fearfully and wonderfully made by God. Somebody else could argue that because we are wonderfully and fearfully made by God, we should not take blood transfusion from someone else. Neither should we be entertaining to a kidney transplant, anything like that, that would save one's life. And so we need to understand that science have developed over the years. Technology has developed over the years. Some years ago, I had to go to Belize, but before I could leave Jamaica, I had to take the yellow fever vaccine, or else I would not be allowed to go. And so vaccine has been known over the years in Jamaica to have prevent various illnesses, diseases, and viruses. Thank you.
You heard his deliberation there, heavily influenced by his religious understanding of the relationship between his religious conviction and medical science. As we said before, and we are going to repeat, Love 101 FM is taking no position. We're simply trying to facilitate thorough ventilation of the subject on the vaccination, whether we should take it or not. It's a personal decision, and we hope that we are bringing you sufficient light for you to be more informed by the end of the program as to which way you will go. Now, important to the process tonight is the opportunity to raise questions for clarity and to introduce new issues and concerns of relevance to the topic. To spearhead this in the next segment of our program are our probers: Narcisse, civil society advocate; Chad Rattray, a youth parliamentarian; Anthony Williams, an attorney at law; and Angelique Cohen, a mental health interventionist, as well as Shanique Rowe, who's a youth leader, legal intern, and Astor Black, a political activist. How do we know what is fact and what is fallacy and fiction? Where do we go? That's the question. Especially if some groupings disagree, among them doctors and church leaders. What really makes you an expert analyst and your analysis accurate? Who or what should we believe and why? We're going to invite probers to react to the presentation. And now we throw you back to Shivani. Shivani?
Before we hear from our probers, let's hear some responses from those interacting with us on social media. Now, this one says, grateful for this initiative from Love 101. I'd like to hear more about any risks associated with using mRNA technology. She says this argument has been that even though the vaccine uses that technology, it should not modify our DNA because it breaks down once it gets into our system. How confident are scientists about that? That's a big question. This one says, my question is, what is the long-term effect after taking the COVID-19 vaccine? Why is it that no one is being reported recovered again? Let me see now. This one says, if you have HIV, can you take the vaccine? Let me scroll. This one is from our listener in New York. And where did her question go? Trying to bring it up here. As soon as I'm able to do that, I'll get back to it. All right, another one says, Did the Prime Minister take the vaccine? Yes, ma'am, he did. Let me see now. What the doc have said is based off the WHO research. Is that research credible? Because I saw a news item today from Germany and Canada regarding the blood clot from the AstraZeneca vaccine. I saw it in today's Gleaner, and these countries have put a hold on the vaccine. Why are we talking about it? All right, let me see now. Trying to bring my friends coming from New York here. Still not seated. Let me see what the people on YouTube are saying before we go to a break. Well, this one says, I think part of the problem with the vaccine is that because it's so new, we don't really know a lot about it. And a lot of persons are scared, inclusive of myself. This one says, this is Karen. The vaccine makes us GMO, and we buy non-GMO food. Howard says, where is the power of God? I would think as a pastor or individual, he would be promoting the power of God. I think with that one, we'll take another break. Yeah, get some water in their mouths and come back. This is Love, and we're talking about the COVID-19 vaccine.
Manchester Cooperative Credit Union has been serving the parish of Manchester for over 70 years. Since then, our products and services have evolved to suit your changing needs. You've made us your choice as a sound financial partner, and today we stand proud of our achievements, satisfied members, and a name that is respected across the industry. Thank you, Manchester, for making us your financial institution of choice. Not yet a member? Come on board with us. We are Manchester Cooperative Credit Union, where service exceeds expectation.
How can I pursue a career in health and wellness? With so many options from massage therapist to lifestyle blogger, where do I begin?
The Advanced Program partners with local institutions to help steer you in the right direction in your quest for higher education and to inspire you to succeed.
Explore your possibilities.
Visit advancedprogram.org or call 876-430-5791. The Advanced Program is funded by USAID and implemented by FHI 360.
Town Hall Meeting right here in Love 101 FM, the family station. I'm Siobhan Blair, your host. And this is where all COVID-19 vaccine views have come to contend. What more do you need to know to make the decision as to whether to be taking the vaccine or not? Has anything we presented this evening thus far made your mind up? Has it changed anything? Well, we'd invite you to participate and interact with us on our social media platforms using the hashtag Love101 Town Hall. Derval is standing by in the wings, so let's head back to Derval.
Well, we can't just have questions.
Derval is getting ready. I think he's ready now. You are Derval, aren't you?
Stay happy here, yes, to make sure we get the thing going out very well. Lots of questions raised by listeners and viewers. We have lining up a moment for his presentation, Dr. Roger Hunter. Hopefully, Dr. Hunter will be able to lay some of those medical fears to rest in his presentation. Dr. Hunter is a consultant neurologist and spinal surgeon. Good evening, Dr. Hunter.
Good evening, Derval. Good evening to your other co-hosts. Good evening to all the staff in the studio that's making it possible. And of course, a big good evening to all of your listeners at the time. I know that you are very beautifully effective station that pretty much sticks with pure Puritan music. And I love that. Hello, did you hear me? Hello? 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 Hello?
You are on. You are on. Go ahead.
Okay, so I can continue to speak. Thank you, madam. So, from my perspective, having lived in the UK from 2003 for about, call it 7, 8, 9 years, We have had outbreaks of the flu and outbreaks of the cold. If you went back 500 years ago, and from analyzing the trees, you realize there was a virus that was affecting many millions in Europe. There was no vaccine at the time. Now, my argument is this, and I hope you are hearing me. We are hearing too many messages about wearing masks, social distance, traveling in taxpayers-funded cars, SUV vehicles, and announcing to small towns to take the vaccine. When in fact, the vaccine has not been shown to protect you from another coronavirus. It has not been shown to protect you from the flu. So if you look at it one way, if you took the flu shot last year, you'll have to take again this year because the flu influenza virus always changes. And why there was never a need for coronavirus injection is because people would still be able to cough and work at the same time. I acknowledge publicly that the coronavirus, this time around, SARS-2, is perhaps more effective at killing people than perhaps in North America compared to the other situation. Jamaica has had a relatively easy time with the coronavirus. We have not lost 1,000 patients in an exact 1-year cycle from the coronavirus. That's one. The other thing that I'd like you to think about, and I think it was your esteemed colleague, Dr. Bishop Kit, forgot his surname, or the other gentleman, Mr. Taylor, when asked the question, what about 5 years from now? What about 10 years from now? What about 20 years from now? And that's the important question to answer, because Jamaica is autoimmune territory. So people with rheumatoid arthritis, people with asthma, people with heart disease, people with migraine, eczema, psoriasis, people with all of these illnesses should under no means possible be given the vaccine whilst they remain positive. The risk, and it has happened to some high-profile individuals recently, they took the vaccine and got very ill a week later. So the vaccine has significant problems up front. I know of at least 6 medical doctors, including a matron, who fainted after getting the corona vaccine. So I am very skeptical, with only 500 people dead from coronavirus. I think too much resources has been expended on coronavirus. Take, for instance, the people spent $4 billion on isolating individuals. Well, all that $4 billion has gone to waste because there's community spread. Now come election time. Yes, there was no mass meetings, but I can tell you this, there were mass gatherings around entourages of cars, ringing bells, or fists open. That event alone would have caused a spike, with some people attributed the spike in September to the misbehavior in August. What I can say about our coronavirus strike in terms of death relates back to February, when the temperature went as low as 18 degrees Celsius.
We're hearing all views contending on both sides of the issue. We've just heard our speaker a moment ago, Dr. Hunter, who seems to be very skeptical about the efficacy of vaccination.
I'm very interested to know what the 5 years.
I think we're going to have to press on in the interest of time, I'm afraid, Dr. Hunter. And perhaps you will hear some more that will give you the opportunity to come back and offer some further clarification because you sparked some interest here, I would imagine, from what you've said. So far, we've heard from Dr. Lucien Jones. We've heard also from Evangelist Hurley Taylor. We've had perspective also from Bishop Pitkin. And now we're going to move on to our other people who are involved here, our probers. But before we get on to them, I think it's time for me to hand you back to Shivani, who is our host for this evening.
Thank you, Derval, and certainly our viewers and listeners are they're interacting with us and they have been asking a lot of questions. And let me get through some of them quickly. This one says, I think part of the problem with the vaccine is that because it's so new, so we don't have a lot of persons talking about it, so they're afraid. All right, this one says, where am I? The vaccine is new, right? The vaccine is new, so we need some more time. I will not be taking it now. Let me see now. Let me go up a little more and see what this person is saying. This one says, why is there not a vaccine developed for AIDS, hypertension, diabetes, or cancer? But there's one for the COVID-19 vaccine in a hurry. All right. Cherry in Spanish Town says, vaccine was before I was born, and vaccine will be around when I'm dead and gone. All right, Cherry, thanks for that. A question here, is it safe for a person taking cancer medication? Well, you'd have to talk with your doctor on that one. They will advise you accordingly. We take a break? Yes, take a break. Please share your comments online with us. We take a break soon come.
Hello.
Hello?
Goodbye.
Goodbye? What are you doing?
I'm saying hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry.
Oh, I'd like to say that too.
Well, with Guardian Life's new ultimate provider, you can secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness ahead of time and benefit from their investment portfolio too.
Wow, so it's hello peace of mind
and goodbye worry with Guardian Life's new ultimate provider. For more information, contact 888-367-5433 or talk to one of our representatives. Guardian Life. Live secure. Live.
Manchester Cooperative Credit Union has been serving the parish of Manchester for over 70 years. Since then, our products and services have evolved to suit your changing needs. You've made us your choice as a sound financial partner, and today we stand proud of our achievements, satisfied members, and a name that is respected across the industry. Thank you, Manchester, for making us your financial institution of choice. Not yet a member? Come on board with us. We are Manchester Cooperative Credit Union, where service exceeds expectation.
Huge thanks to our sponsors, Manchester Cooperative Credit Union, Garden Life, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness. You're watching and listening to Love FM Town Hall Meeting. We're talking about the COVID-19 vaccine. Are you going to take it? You won't? Why or why not? Let us know. Let's head back to Derval, our moderator for this evening.
All right, thank you so much, Shavoni. We're having a little technical glitch here and there, but do bear with us. We trust that we're coming across clearly enough despite the glitches, so you can follow what's going on. As we said, our duty here this evening in this town hall meeting is not to make up your mind for you, but to help to clarify issues. We brought on the experts. You've heard the perspectives from medical angle and also some religious views that impinge or impact or interface with the question as to whether you should take the vaccine or not. Now we have our probers, and they are going to now make an input. I think we have the first person ready to do some probing.
Thank you, Thank you so much, Derval. And
It sounds like Carol
it is
Narcisse.
Carol. Yes,
Okay, Carol,
yes.
welcome aboard.
Thank you so much for the welcome and for the opportunity. Good evening to everyone, the members of the panel, and of course to listeners and viewers. I think it behooves us on these 2 hours to make sure that the information, as much as possible, is consistent with science and with what the facts are. So I would like to ask, firstly, Dr. Jones, Dr. Lucien Jones, to just clarify for us, if he is able to, the issue of the modality of the AstraZeneca, which is the one we have. I'm referring to Pastor Taylor's reference to the drugs being the mRNA technology, and that mRNA interferes with our DNA. Could Dr. Jones please clarify? My understanding is that the AstraZeneca uses a different modality, that in fact the different vaccines are all using different technologies. And the AstraZeneca, which we have, is not an mRNA technology, but I would like for Dr. Jones to clarify if he's able. Are we able to get that clarification from Dr. Jones? While we wait for Dr. Jones, I would also like to say, very good.
Hi, okay, Karen. The position is as follows, and I'm sure the evangelist will breathe a sigh of relief after I went into so much detail about affecting our DNA. Point number one, and this is fact. The AstraZeneca vaccine does not use mRNA. Does not. I repeat, does not. That's the first point. What it does is to use what is called an attenuated virus. It's a virus that has been lost of its powers to infect you. It is taken from a chimpanzee. It used to cause the influenza virus. And because it simulates, it behaves as if the coronavirus is attacking your body. Our body produces antibodies against this attenuated virus and gives us the protection about which I spoke. So 1 dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine after 3 weeks will provide between 60 and 70% of protection against it. What does this mean in practical terms? Because I think we need to understand clearly what we are trying to do here. We are trying to prevent people from going to hospital and dying. We're not talking about not catching a virus. Not catching a virus is an issue by itself for discussion. And that's where the percentage is coming. But we don't need to follow the percentage too much, because all the studies have shown in the build-up to the production and the validation of these vaccines, nobody who took the virus ended up in hospital or died. And this is the number one problem that faces Jamaica right now, tonight, because people are dying and people are scared out of their wits. Secondly, the mRNA does not, repeat, does not get into the nucleus where your DNA is. It does not. It gives instructions to the cell to produce antibodies against the spike protein of the coronavirus. And once instructions are given, the body gets rid of those instructions. It never, ever, ever enters your nucleus with your DNA. So it does not trouble your DNA whatsoever. So I want really for us to follow the science and get the facts straight. We are speaking out of ignorance. And I'm saying this with the greatest respect in the world. And I'm not using it as a term to cast at anybody. People do not know the facts of these things, and I'm glad.
Could I just, Dr. Jones, if I may just get a couple of other questions for your clarification. Host, if Derval, may I?
Let's just go ahead, but make it brief for me, please. And
All right.
you understand?
Pastor Taylor also is concerned about how quickly the vaccine has been developed. Some of the scientists that I've heard talking about this have said that actually research has been going on from SARS, COVID-2. So all the other earlier COVID outbreaks, especially those that like SARS and others that we've seen over several years now. So that this actually built upon those earlier research. Is that correct or not?
That is correct. And I think the challenge is the messaging. The fact that so many people, and so many people in the religious community, of which I'm a part, and so many of my patients still hold this view, it means that the experts who have been talking about this thing for the last 4 months, including Dr. Peter Figueroa, who is a world-renowned expert, and the CMO, who has done a wonderful job in guiding his country through this coronavirus. It means that what they have been saying has not been either heard or understood. The research on coronaviruses, of which SARS-CoV-2 is one, has been going on for many years. And one of the key things that has made a difference is the ability of the scientists to sequence the genome, the genes that are in each of these viruses. So that was done in a flash. And all they had to do was to change the genes and target the genes in this virus in order to make the vaccines. So the vaccines may appear to the uninitiated, to those who don't know, that was made rapidly. It is not so. What happens that we took advantage of a technology which was well known and produced. Thank God. Otherwise, I don't know how we'd manage. Thank God we produced a vaccine in a short time. Otherwise, I don't know what would happen to us. People, look around you. Look and see what is happening in our hospitals. Look and see your friends who are dying. Young people. So we need to get rid in this country. Yes, the messaging, I believe, has not really gotten across to the grassroots and on the ground. But I'm glad for a program like this. And I hope those who are listening very carefully and don't make Google their best friend or your WhatsApp messages. It will lead you astray. Please listen to the expert. And I'm no expert. I'm a family physician of many years and involved in public health for many years. Most of what I do is on road safety. But I am a family physician at heart. And I speak to the expert and I listen carefully and I transmit this information to my patients.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jones. Loud and clear. We're going to move on to this time it's Chad Rattray. He's a youth parliament. Chad? Hey there, Chad? If not, we're going to move on to Anthony Williams, attorney at law.
Can anybody hear me? Hello?
Yes. Who is this now? Hello. All right. Seems we do have some technical challenges here, but we're pressing on and we apologize for the inconvenience that you
Good evening, everyone.
Okay. Who is this now? Is this Anthony Williams?
That is correct.
Right. And you are the attorney at law.
Yes, that is correct. Thank you very much. My question is to Dr. Lucien Jones. He indicated about the AstraZeneca and the whole issue of the blood clot. But just as recent as Monday, the 29th of March, 2021, Canada has decided to suspend the use of the AstraZeneca because they have come to the conclusion of the risk involved in women in particular under age 55. And so I would like to ask Dr. Jones, in light of this, may I say, clinical finding by the Canadians, in fact, in particular, the institution is the National Advisory Committee on Immunization for Safety. Can you comment on this? Because Canada has suspended the AstraZeneca because of the inherent risk of blood clots or the rare disease of blood clots in females, in particular, under 55. My other question relates to the evangelist Hurley Taylor, who seemed to be rather spiritually emotional in relation to the use of the vaccine. But there are quite a few scriptures that speaks to wisdom and the fact that we should be wise in seeking medical advice rather than just relying on spiritual development to heal us. So can both gentlemen give some clarification?
Okay, so it's over to you first of all, Dr. Jones.
Okay, so in respect of the finding that the Canadians have elected to suspend the use of AstraZeneca because of the rare occurrence of blood clots, which is similar to the story which came out of Europe a couple of weeks ago. The only difference I'm hearing Mr. Williams is saying is that this is an account of what is happening to women and women below a certain age group. I can't say what the WHO, and as you would expect as a public health person, you follow the science shared with you from a reputable organization. So I don't know what the WHO is saying about the Canadian position tonight. The data I'm quoting from you for about the European issue was dated the 16th of March. And the data has shown very clearly that there is no significant increase in the persons who haven't taken the vaccine and have developed blood clots versus those who have not taken the vaccine. Whether or not the point could be made about what is happening in Canada, I don't know. And like with every other reported challenge, because one of the key things about vaccination is efficiency and safety. So I'm sure the WHO is going to investigate that particular challenge as it has done with other challenges. And that's fair. That's fair comment. So I can't answer you what the WHO position, but what I can say to you, based on experience in Europe, is that the data is shown in that instance that there is no increase. There's no increase. In fact, there's a decrease in the number of people who have taken the vaccine and who have blood clots versus those who have not taken the vaccine.
Okay.
Angelique Cohen.
We heard from Dr. Jones now, and we're going to move on to Bishop Pitkin, the attorney, through the second question.
And was to the evangelist.
Oh, the evangelist, Hurley. Okay, yes, I'm sorry.
Am I right, Anthony?
That is correct. That is correct.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Mr. Williams, for your question.
Yes.
You spoke to wisdom, and certainly wisdom, as we understand, is the application of knowledge. And we are getting this knowledge via different sources. And therefore, with the knowledge that we have, we ought to apply it and to act rationally and prudently. Certainly the scriptures, and I agree with what Bishop Pitkin indicated, that the scriptures do not point saying thou shalt not take COVID-19 vaccine or thou shalt take it. Absolutely not. And I agree with what he has indicated about the mark of the beast. Before you have the mark of the beast, you have to have the beast himself before you have his mark. And that doesn't happen until way into Revelation. And we are just about the sixth seal before, and the beast is in the seventh seal. Anyway, the truth is that I believe that what has happened is that the information that we have raises so many questions that, like in a criminal trial with which you would be very familiar, if the jury would be asked if they harbor any doubt, then they would be advised to acquit the accused. So therefore, the questions are not being answered to my suitability and to the suitability of a number of other persons. And therefore, because it concerns our body and is likely to be irreversible, and then we have the contending claims from the different producers and from the different experts. Nobody seems to agree that 2 and 2 to base 10 is 4. Everybody seems to be adding 2 and 2 to 22 or to 4 or to 6 or to something when it suits them. And we cannot have that in science. And because it appears to be not settled, wisdom would dictate, wait until they at least can decide upon what science is about.
Well,
Okay,
Mr.
I'm afraid,
Mr. Taylor,
gentlemen, I'm afraid we'll have to leave it there for the moment. If you can hold your horses, perhaps we'll get back to the rest of what you want answered. But we must move on now to the youth parliamentarian, Chad Rattray. Okay, Angelique, you're on screen. Let's hear from you before we move on to Chad. Angelique?
Sorry.
Unmute your mic, please,
Good night.
Angelique. Okay, we're hearing you.
I'm unmuted now. Okay, thanks. How are you? Good night. Thanks for having me, Derval. One, I'd like to make mention of Mr. Taylor. I agree with Mr. Taylor on multiple things because I find Mr. Taylor to be very practical. And I think in cases like this, it's necessary to be very practical. It's just simple and it's just very straightforward. For me, I think the vaccine has come out way too soon. I understand the rush because of COVID, so everybody wants to find an answer. However, rushing something does not automatically mean that it is safe. So personally, I don't think that it is safe. Two, I could make an analogy with Easter. When Easter Bun comes out, we know when we see Purity, National, HTB, those are the names that strike us. When the vaccine is out and we're seeing names such as Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, we're clueless. We have no idea about any of these vaccines because, again, they have just bombarded us. So we're forced to take on what the scientists are telling us, and all we're seeing are question signs. Now, based off of Moderna, Pfizer, 94% effective, 95% effective. What we're getting is AstraZeneca, which is 76% effective. This is something that causes me concern. As far as I'm concerned, everybody's rushing to pass the FDA. Who hasn't passed it already? For me, I think about who benefits from this. The answer for me is the pharmaceutical companies, not the people. Now, AstraZeneca, again, no matter what, for what everybody is talking about, and if anybody hasn't realized yet, the question for me is to everybody who is for the COVID vaccine, has been on a roller coaster ride for basically the last couple of weeks. For European countries such as Germany, Italy, France, and also Canada, up to date, up to today. So why should we be confident is my question by the argument that the pros outweigh the cons? Is that enough for us to take the vaccine, just thinking that the pros outweigh the cons when it comes to our safety, when it comes to our health, especially the medical health community, which I am representing, when they're already I should say, are already completely confused and really need no additional fear at this time? That's my question to everybody that is for the vaccine.
So much. You've raised some interesting points there. Time permitting, we'll see how we might be able to respond to them. But for now, let's hear from the youth parliamentarian, Chad Rattray. Hello, Chad. Hi, Chad. Are you there? Yes.
You can hear
We'll
me?
hear from Chad. Yes, I can hear you now, Chad. Go ahead.
Okay, great. So I was saying good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for having me here. And we're having an important conversation as it relates to the vaccines and COVID-19. And it's a timely conversation, especially with the many doubts in the vaccine and also the very serious concerns related to the vaccine. What I can say is from a youth perspective, well, I personally myself, I wish that as soon as the vaccines came, I could have gotten my job, but I do recognize the protocols as it relates to, we have to vaccinate those who are most at risk or those who are most exposed first. But based on from my perspective, for sure, there are a good amount of young persons and young people that do want to take the vaccine when their time comes, but you do have a vast majority who is against vaccines. My question really is as it relates to young people, and what I want to find out is what are some of the effects that the vaccine will have. Is it a case where, because we do have young people that have died from the virus. So what I want is to get more information as it relates to the prioritization of vaccination. As it relates to, is it a case where we young people, the immune system is stronger? And I guess probably I could answer that question and say yes. But is it a case where we are less susceptible to hospitalization and other detrimental effects of the virus, which is why we are not necessarily a priority as it relates to getting the vaccine?
Much that was Chad Rattray, our youth parliamentarians. Good always to hear from the young people because they are the future, as the saying goes. It's going to be put in their perspective. Right now, we're going to hear from another youth leader. This is Shanique Rowe. She is also a legal intern. Good evening, Shanique.
Evening. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you very well now.
All right, all protocols observed. Good afternoon, good evening, rather, to everyone listening in, panelists, host, and moderator. Well, my first question will be, what steps are to be taken in regards to Dr. Jones mentioned that we should not, follow up with everything that Google says. What steps are being taken on a community level to sensitize our nationals by the public health stakeholders? Because it is not news to us that not every family in Jamaica has a personal family physician where they can go to for information. We are basically living off hard facts from international sources. So what then can be done so that persons can be more sensitized in order to make a better informed decision?
Shanique, thank you so much there. Shanique, our youth leader. Now, a lot of questions were posed in the deliberations earlier on from some of the probers, and I hope our panelists have been listening. I want to give an opportunity now for any of our panelists to respond to any of the questions that have been raised during the times that the probers have been speaking.
Darvel. There's an important.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to respond to Dr. Lucien saying his position.
Okay, you'd like to, this is who, Dr. Hunter? Yes, the voice sounds like Dr. Hunter. You'd like to challenge Dr. Jones. So
Before, can I speak, Darvel?
Okay, I think this is Bishop Pitkin now. By the voice?
Yes.
All right, so we'll take you just ahead of Dr. Hunter.
I'll make it clear.
I think the question that Angelique poses is very important because there is a confusion between efficacious, effectiveness, and safe. And so I would really submit to Dr. Jones to clarify the difference between the vaccine being efficacious, effective, and safe.
Okay, so you're posing a question to Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones, would you respond to that now, please?
Let me respond to Shanique's question first about how to get information. And I think her question is spot on target and perhaps has been one of the great failures, if failure is the right word to use, during the campaign against coronavirus. Because we have not sufficiently, in my view, mobilize the community groups, the house to house, the community to community, in trying to get the information across. And to that extent, I believe we are reaping some of the effects of failure to mobilize the entire country. Yes, we've been using the mass media very effectively, but I don't believe we have mobilized the church, the political groups, and other important groups in the country to carry the message to each individual across the country about the existential, and I repeat the word, existential challenge that this coronavirus faces. So I agree with Bishop Pitkin when we need to be very clear in our messaging about how effective the virus is and the concerns that people have about its safety. And these concerns are real, and these concerns are worthy of serious debate. But I must implore all of you, please, when the facts are given, for example, I said to Evangelist Taylor that his position on the AstraZeneca is not right, it's not supported by the facts. His position on the mRNA is not supported by the facts. The mRNA never gets anywhere near to your DNA. It can't affect your DNA. The AstraZeneca vaccine does not use the mRNA technology. And therefore, the question remains how safe are these vaccines? And we can only go by the data that we have. That before the vaccines were passed by the WHO or the FDA or the European Union, they had to undergo trials. And very few people had problems during the trials. Some people had allergic responses with the Moderna and the Pfizer. There was no significant allergic response with the AstraZeneca vaccine, sorry. And those allergic responses were triggered by the Moderna and the Pfizer were handled by effective medical care. So the blood clots is an issue. It is under review. I just looked at the data in terms of what is happening in Germany and Canada under 55. But the majority of the European countries have continued to use the vaccine because they are in effect having a surge. They're having a spike in the corona cases now. So they are desperate to scramble around trying to get vaccines to make sure that their citizens are protected. We cannot forget how devastated
Thank you so
Europe
much.
was by this coronavirus. Italy and Spain, they were devastated. We saw where so many people died and so many people never even got buried. They were buried en masse in graves. This is one serious hombre, one serious virus. And we have to make sure we have our facts straight.
I think you made the point there very clearly, Dr.
Mr.
Jones.
Chairman.
Thank you so much. Oh, hello there.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to
Is this Dr. Hunter?
Very well, sir.
Okay, Dr. Hunter, would you hold just a moment, please? I think Mrs. Carol Narcisse has a question for you. So we're going to put her on to raise the question.
Okay, Miss. Yes.
Carol Narcisse, it's your time to raise the question.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you again, Derval. And Tech Ops, could I just, if you could mute all of us who are not speaking, it would help with the echoes. Dr. Hunter, you spoke about that the fact that Jamaica hasn't lost, we've lost 500 people, that's not a lot of people. Could I ask you, do you have a number of deaths in mind that would be sufficient cause for alarm and action in the context of a communicable disease?
Excellent question.
That's the first question I'd like to ask.
One at a time. Oh dear. Two. You want to answer the second one after I finish the first one? Mr. Chairman, if that's allowed. Can I just deal with your first question?
Yes, please go ahead with that, and do bear in mind the time. Yes, and do bear in mind the time constraints, Dr. Hunter. I'd appreciate that.
Miss Narcisse, sorry, I was thinking out loud. Can you tell me a little bit about the first question? What is a number that would be comfortable for me? All right.
Yes,
Let me
of
tell you.
deaths, of deaths, because you are saying you've essentially made the point that it's too few people for us to be alarmed and for us to be trying to stop a communicable disease, not a non-communicable disease. So how many deaths would you consider alarming?
Okay, you want to hear how much I would consider alarming? 1,000 to 1,600 deaths would be alarming to me, because at that rate, it means it's in the category of crime and violence. I see Dr. Lucien Jones is here at the beginning of January.
But with respect, Doc, with respect, are we, given the trajectory that we are currently on, do you see us taking long to get to the number you are comfortable with in a communicable disease context? And does it make sense to compare a communicable disease and the rate of transmission with the murder rate?
Let me tell you something. HIV has been around for how many years? 40
Yeah, but that's
years.
a sexually transmitted disease. You have the option not to have sex. You don't have the option to not breathe. And COVID is a respiratory illness. You and I don't have the option to breathe. We have the option to have sex or not.
Let me answer this question for you. As a surgeon, with my hands, right? With my hands, I can get coronavirus with my hands. Do you hear me? If a baby, they can get it with a baby through passing through the mother's tummy, and so they discovered early. If you treat the child in the mother's tummy, you won't have the amount of HIV positive children. But not to stray too far. HIV and RNA virus, HIV and RNA virus, and I hope everybody can see me. The RNA virus, there is no vaccine for the HIV vaccine, HIV, which causes AIDS. And by now, over 1 million people have died from AIDS, if not 2 or 3 million.
Over how many years?
I would say from the 1980s come now. But that's important because HIV is something you are going to encounter during intimacy. But what I'd like to also say, we need to build our own narrative. We need to tell our own story. We need to stop this hysteria. By what I mean, you go to a lawyer's office, you have to hand the paper in a paper bag. You can't see the lawyer. Last year, this time, hysteria was well and truly alive, with one person being positive from Bull Bay. Bull Bay was stigmatized. It was shunned. People were ashamed to say they came from Bull Bay. Now, going forward into August, yes, it is hotter, but the government did not find it necessary to delay the elections.
Okay, thank you so much. There's a lot of ground to cover. I'm sure we won't be able to do everything, but at least we'll take you some ways in trying to come to a decision. We're going to hear now.
I want to tell you
this time now. Astor Black. He's a political activist. Okay, I think we're going to have to pass this on and probably come back. He's here now. Okay. All right, Astor Black, how are you there, sir? Okay, sir.
It's Carl. And the moderator, everybody. You know, I think we're discussing here, take the vaccine or not take the vaccine. We're going off into the Bible and we're going off into politics. But the main issue here, should we take it? We're getting too many mixed views of these things. It's like I don't know if the people who is in the hospital right now, like Michael Sharp and Dean Jackson Miller, if they had underlying problems while they're there. But we don't hear a lot of people in the US who is taking the vaccine now and going through, and glad that they do, because now they can take an airplane and come to Jamaica. If we push forward, now, we're talking about how fast the vaccine was developed. It is 2021 now. It's not the Stone Age when things take long to prepare. Now we can do things much faster. And to what my knowledge is like even the metformin from developing over the years, it might be good for cancer. So who is to tell right now that the brains that we have in this 2021 isn't more advanced now than in the 50s when it take forever to develop a vaccine. Right now is like it's a new world order. The Bible, keep quoting the Bible and keep quoting politics. But this is not about the Bible or politics. The Most High give us the brains to develop what we need to go forward. And the church thing, the God thing is like, when I was growing up, a jet fly overhead, and a Christian lady said, "Look, see, it's signs and wonders from God, and that's what's going on." Now it's 2021. Let us work with the scientists and make it happen and work with it. Saint blessed.
Hello, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Dr. Hunter.
Quickly to respond to the very, very eloquent and precise, and I congratulate him for saying that.
And make it a very quick one.
Quickly, the USA has over 2,000, if not 3,000 deaths following the administration of the vaccine. The genetic vaccine goes into the cell. It goes to where the nucleus is. And it is not inconceivable for the vaccine, the mRNA, the Moderna, the Pfizer, to get into our nucleus.
That is so untrue. It's not true.
It is totally possible.
That's fake news.
Do you know what is fake news?
That's fake news. It does not get into the DNA. You must stop saying those things, Dr. Hunter. You are speaking
Okay, is that Dr. Jones? Hello, Dr. Jones.
Accidents have gone unchecked. 20 years and no difference of accident.
Right, Dr. Hunter, ask you to hold it there.
Miss
Dr. Jones, did you want
Narcisse
to
had a
say something?
second question. Miss Narcisse had a second question. Could I have her second question, please?
Okay, sir. But thank you. Please bear in mind that we have time constraints.
I understand. Yes, Miss Narcisse.
But Durval, you're not going to allow somebody to run the show for you.
No, absolutely not. But I want to hear
running
it.
the show. You have spoken 4 times.
Okay, gentlemen.
You have spoken 4 times.
Okay, Dr.
4 times. You don't treat coronavirus.
Dr. Hunter.
Let's take some comments from our.
I thought this wasn't a debate.
Yes,
very quickly, Dr. Hunter. I'm giving you just about 30
hear what
seconds.
folks on social media are saying, and we're following the discussion on Facebook and on YouTube. Now, Tanisha says, yes, I heard that death count that was considered not alarming. Listen, one death is one too many. Gleason says, how many of those people died from the virus or without the virus? And let me see, this one says, where is it now? What is the meaning of use permit from the FDA? All right, Joan says none of you doctors have made the effort to prove what is in the vaccine. The documents sent to you, I'll sum it up. All here says you don't all have any proof, and you're just following protocols. All right, let me see what the folks
Can I answer that medical question?
Are you going to do it in 30 seconds, Dr. Hunter?
Very sharp.
Yes, quickly, please.
Drugs that have caused people harm. Remember thalidomide in the 50s and 60s. They grew without limit. It took a while, but I discovered the vaccine is new. No matter how Dr. Lucien Jones is struggling to push his point. He cannot tell us what is outcomes in 10 years' time or
All
20
right.
years'
Thank you, Dr. Hunter. That's where we have to leave it. Let's take a break, put some more to their mouth, and come back. Let's hear from our sponsors.
Hello.
Hello?
Goodbye.
Goodbye? What are you doing?
I'm saying hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry.
Oh, I'd like to say that too.
Well, with Guardian Life's new ultimate provider, you can secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness ahead of time and benefit from their investment portfolio too.
Wow, so it's hello peace of mind.
And goodbye worry with Guardian Life's new ultimate provider. For more information, contact 888-367-5433 or talk to one of our representatives.
Manchester Cooperative Credit Union has been serving the parish of Manchester for over 70 years. Since then, our products and services have evolved to suit your changing needs. You've made us your choice as a sound financial partner, and today we stand proud of our achievements, satisfied members, and a name that is respected across the industry. Thank you, Manchester, for making us your financial institution of choice. Not yet a member? Come on board with us. We are Manchester Cooperative Credit Union, where service exceeds expectation.
When it comes to any emergency meeting, they shut him up.
Working very hard to ensure lives are saved and people recover quickly from COVID-19. But their work is becoming harder because you're not wearing your mask, washing your hands with soap and water, or using hand sanitizer, and you are not maintaining physical distance. Let's limit the need for hospital beds and ventilators. Do the right thing. Cover your nose and mouth with a mask. Practice good hand hygiene and maintain a physical distance of 6 feet between you and others. COVID-19 is not over. Protect yourself while protecting others. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Welcome back, everybody. This is LOVE101, the family station. We're talking about the COVID-19 vaccine. Huge thanks to our sponsors, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Guardian Life, and our friends at Manchester Cooperative Credit Union. Before we head back to the discussion, let me just clear something. I think it was Astor Black who made mention of Dion Jackson in the hospital. She's not in the hospital. She's at home. Fighting COVID-19. She was on the earlier today expressing some of the symptoms she's facing. She's at home and not in the hospital. Thought we'd clear that for our listeners and our viewers. Let's head back to Durval for the discussion.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shivani. I'd like to remind you to keep your microphone muted unless you are the speaker, because if you keep your microphone open and you're not the speaker, it does create some difficulties for us here in our transmission. All right, so we gather that Shanique Rowe has a question. So Shanique, put your question forward now. We've lost Shanique for the moment. So we go to Angelique, who has a question. Angelique.
I'd like to say, particularly I find in instances where there is, just to put it simply, let's say a puzzle. Everybody thinks that they have the pieces, or everybody tries to find the pieces to put together. I think that in a situation such as COVID, when nobody ever thought that they would live to see a pandemic. So literally speaking, nobody knows how to deal with it. And really everybody is a genius, or everybody thinks that they're a genius. And for me, sitting down and looking at the situation, when we're looking at trials, when we're looking at the vaccine, I am not even certain, in my opinion, that, in my personal opinion, that there is any proof whatsoever through any of these trials with any of these vaccines that either of them actually works. We have not given any of them enough time to see if any of them works. Every test has been done on someone who, whether it is that they have the vaccine, whether they have COVID, it doesn't matter. The point is a time span has not been given to say, okay, this has worked through this person's system. Plus, it has been indicated that for the best effect, 2 vaccines has to be taken. One for, it says that the first one revs up your system, and the second one is to make sure that you get the full effectiveness of the vaccine. And that is why that they don't, it is not suggested that you mix 2 brands. So it's not suggested that you take the Johnson & Johnson and then on your next dose, you take the Moderna. So there's so much to be learned still about what it is that we're going through. So 1, 2 doses is suggested. A lot of people don't know that. So I'm thinking, are we okay taking 1? And 2, again, going back to my original point, I don't think that really and truly, I don't think anybody has proven to this point that the vaccine has worked.
Angelique, to stick to that. No, hold a moment, please, Dr. Hunter. I'm going to ask, I think Dr. Jones wanted to come in here to answer that. I'll take you a little later on, time permitting. So, Dr. Jones, you heard the question there
Yes,
from
I heard the
Angelique.
question. And I think the context really, she has made the context very clear. A lot of young people and even some older people are confused, and even some of the scientists, because this thing is new and we're trying to work our way through it as scientists. So I think she's asking honest questions. I think she's asking questions which are worthy of serious contemplation. May I just suggest to her the following things. 1, during the trials, and the trials are real, and if you want the data, I can supply it for you. They did testing of the vaccines they gave some people the vaccine, 50% of them, and some people did not get the vaccine. None of the persons who got the vaccine had to go to hospital or died, versus many of those who did not take the vaccine were exposed to the COVID virus, died, or...
But how would you know that those persons would have had to have gone to the hospital anyway?
All right, let me back up a second. We have a system of testing new products on the market for many years. And there are various statistical methods which has been mastered by the scientists over the years, including technical things like double-blind trials, where what the point is that you make sure that the results that you are getting is not influenced by your own input. And the data is very clear about those who got the vaccine and those who did not. More than that, since the vaccine was introduced in Britain, you remember what was happening in Britain last year? 65% drop in the number of deaths and hospitalizations. You can't ignore facts like that. The same thing is happening in America. The same thing is happening in a number of countries who have got the vaccine. And what we're hoping for in Jamaica is that once a significant number of people have got the vaccine, especially over age 75, which we are concentrating now, those are the persons who have to go to hospital. Those are the persons who are dying. Our grandmothers, our mothers, our fathers, they are the ones we are trying to protect. Not the young people like you necessarily, because if you get the virus, you may or may not get very sick. But if somebody who is 80 and 85 gets the virus and has diabetes and has high blood pressure, like one of my patients recently, they die. And people grieve and people mourn when it could have been prevented. The whole point of the vaccination is to prevent hospitalization and to prevent death. And it has been shown clearly across the world that these things work. And not just AstraZeneca, the same thing with the Sputnik, the same thing in Russia, the same thing in China. They do work.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Jones. Shanique Rowe, the youth leader, I think you have a question.
Yes, my question is related to the blood clot issue. Is it that prior to the rollout of the vaccine, there were reported issues regarding persons who contracted COVID-19 having blood clot related health issues, or is it that after following their taking the vaccine, they began to have these issues? We need some clarity on that, please.
The clarity about this is as follows. The clarity about this is as follows.
Could I take one such a
No, Mr. Dr. Hunter, just a moment, please. I think Dr. Jones is on.
The clarity about blood clots is as follows. Blood clots are common things. You must have heard about DVT, deep vein thrombosis. And diabetes can lead to pulmonary embolism and you can die. People get blood clots all the time for different reasons. Point A. Point B. People who get the vaccines, like anybody else, can get blood clots. So what the data is showing, what investigation has shown, is that there is no significant increase in the number of people who are getting blood clots after having gotten the vaccine versus those who never got the vaccine. It's a simple matter that people get blood clots, people get diabetes, people get high blood pressure. Nobody has been shown to have, or there's no data to show that there's a significant increase in the people who get blood clots after they get the vaccine versus those who did not get the vaccine. Those are the facts.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Hunter, I'm going to give you 30 seconds because time is really,
quickly.
30 seconds.
Dr. Jones has made a blatant and publicly false statement. I lost a 26-year-old patient, went to Campion, engineer, and she died from COVID. That's a fact. 26 is not old. In fact, reputable organization is not he said. WHO made some major errors. And by what I mean, they failed to call the outbreak in China. And two, last year about Italy, they were telling us, along with our chief medical officer, if you do not if you're not feeling symptoms, you can't spread the vaccine.
Okay, Dr. Hunter, I'm afraid we'll have to leave it right there. Thank you so much. We're handing over now to your host.
Yeah, the moderator.
Thank you so much, Derval. Well, let me just say thanks to all those who are online watching and sharing the video and interacting with us. And remember to use the hashtag LOVE101 Town Hall. And if you're sending a voice note, ensure that it's at least 30 seconds long, all right? Now, let me see what the folks on YouTube are saying. They're quite busy on YouTube. Where do I go? I think I'm going to go to Grace Lynn. Right, I think I did Grace Lynn's comment a little earlier. So let me go to Tanisha. Tanisha says, let me see who's going to answer the next question. Watch the ride. Okay, so she's quite in the discussion. Great. I have one here on the text line. I want to bring it up. Quite a number of questions. My concern, why should I take the vaccine if it doesn't prevent me from either catching or spreading the virus? Since it won't do the above, why does it in any form boost my immune system? Reducing hospitalization is not enough, whether I'm hospitalized or not. Death is a possibility which we cannot precisely predict. All right. Tanisha says, I agree. Howard Williams, Dr. Odegive. Okay, a little jumbled there, but you're talking about Dr. Hunter's presentation, not a problem. If you can fix that, then come back. I'll read your comment. Well, let's take a break, hear some responses, and come back. Hope you get some more comments during the break, and I'll present them to you after the break. Soon come.
Hello.
Hello?
Goodbye.
Goodbye? What are you doing?
I'm saying hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry.
Oh, I'd like to say that too.
Well, with Guardian Life's new ultimate provider, you can secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness ahead of time and benefit from their investment portfolio too.
Wow. So it's hello peace of mind.
And goodbye worry with Guardian Life's new ultimate provider. For more information, contact 888-367-5433 or talk to one of our representatives. Guardian Life Secure.
Manchester Cooperative Credit Union has been serving the parish of Manchester for over 70 years. Since then, our products and services have evolved to suit your changing needs. You've made us your choice as a sound financial partner, and today we stand proud of our achievements, satisfied members, and a name that is respected across the industry. Thank you, Manchester, for making us your financial institution of choice. Not yet a member? Come on board with us. We are Manchester Cooperative Credit Union, where service exceeds expectation.
COVID-19 is still here. Always wear your mask correctly and in public places, covering your nose and mouth at all times. Masks should never be worn over the head, under your chin, below your nose, or hanging from your ears. Recovery from COVID-19 can take up to 60 days or more. The mask or the ventilator? You choose. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Thank you. Thank you for staying with us. You're watching and listening to our virtual town hall meeting. We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on radio. I'm Shivani Blair. And if you want to reach us in studio, the number is 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. Will you take the vaccine? Let's keep the conversation going. Let's head to Dorval.
Thank you, Shivani. Lots of information to plow through.
Can I give you some vital information for the public of Jamaica?
I'm sure you'll be doing that in just a moment, Dr. Hunter. Please, I'm going to come back to you, sir. I remember that you were there. I'd just like to remind our viewers and our listeners and those who are participating in particular to mute your microphone when you're not speaking. Because if you keep your mic open, you're going to have some more.
Yeah, Mr. Moderator.
Yes, sir. I'm going to give Dr. Hunter a chance now to speak. Please bear in mind that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, a lot of misinformation has been spread in this same media by one of my colleagues. The fact is, China did not alert the world. The fact is, the people on the British Airways plane were not quarantined. You do not need the WHO to tell you if there's one positive on the plane, you must quarantine the rest. They're saying if you're not symptomatic, you can't pass on the disease. That's downright lie. They have admitted if each and any one of us, I have not taken the vaccine, should take the vaccine, then what will happen? You still have to wear your mask. You still can infect others. So there's a great question. What is the point? And the other last point I want to make just for now is that when you look at the numbers, 500 deaths. When you look at the infections, nearly 1 million infections. Why is it so? We know based on sampling of the population, you get a positive rate of 40%. Right now, a lot of the media houses have abandoned the media houses because there is no sunlight, it's circulated air, and it's dark. These are the conditions to grow coronavirus under. So there is a lot of things that can be done. And I want to spend 30 seconds just to say to the people of Jamaica, every single household in Jamaica, you can get it at get this grant or Upper Waterloo Pharmacy, or it's a company of mine that supplies them. Every household in Jamaica must have an oxygen saturation meter, because I think most of you will recognize the number 98 there. That's the oxygen saturation. Now, when that saturation begins to fall to 92, 93, you need to call Dr. Jones, who will be the first line of defense for coronavirus. Because by now, Dr. Jones would have an armamentarium at his disposal because he's so well-read and learned. He would have an armamentarium to treat you when you're in your 90s so that you won't dip into your 70s or 60s.
So Dr. Hunter, I think that's your 30 seconds there now. I think that's your 30 seconds there now. And time is rushing by very quickly.
Can I have a second here?
Hello. No, I'm afraid we just have to be. This time is rushing out. 30 seconds from each person. That's all the time we will have, and you would have to stick to the 30 seconds because I'm going to cut you off. All right, so we're going to take Dr. Jones now to give us 30 seconds, the final word from you for tonight, Dr. Jones. If Dr. Jones is not...
Dr. Jones. Can I speak
Dr.
before
Jones,
Dr.
please
Jones
unmute,
speaks?
I give my 30
unmute
seconds to
your
somebody
mic.
else. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, all right.
Can I speak?
Yes, who is this now? Who we got speaking? Who is
Can
asking
I
for time
say
here now?
something before Dr. Jones?
Yes, please
Angelique.
do. 30 seconds. Angelique, go right ahead. Angelique, 30 seconds.
I was just speaking, I'll take less than 30 seconds. It was just directed to Dr. Jones. When Dr. Jones was speaking before, he was speaking about the blood clotting and speaking, generally speaking, in terms of it was basically common among the testings in the vaccines. But my argument is it's actually not. The only one that has been having issues with blood clotting is the AstraZeneca, which is the one that has been provided for us. There has been no issues with Moderna, Pfizer, or any other one. The only one is the AstraZeneca. So that's my issue.
Okay, thank you so
And that's the
much.
one that's provided to us.
Okay, all right. Thank you
Yes,
very
Mr.
much for that point. Okay, who do we have? We have now Evangelist
If I
Hurley
may,
Taylor. 30
Derval.
seconds, please. Oh, who is this? Carol. Sounds like Carol. 30 seconds.
It was, but I will defer to Evangelist.
Evangelist Hurley Taylor. 30 seconds, sir.
Thank you very much,
parting words.
Derval, and a lot again. My 30 seconds, just to indicate that I'm very happy about the show. The questions raised earlier have not been satisfactorily answered. The question about the fact that the vaccine is purported to modify our body systems. Too many questions are left unanswered about its efficacy, about its ability to either prevent or to stop the COVID-19. Also, just to indicate that the technology we are using is not is not new, so to speak. Well, it is new, but it is not different from what technology used to be used in Africa and in Peru, where they have the Machu Picchu. Persons today cannot rebuild the pyramids in Africa using the technology that we have. So the truth of the matter is, there has been quite good and excellent technology all over the world prior to now.
Okay, I think we'll have to stop it there. Thank you so much, Evangelist. How about Bishop Pitkin? Are you there? Okay, Bishop. Okay,
Mr.
Bishop. You have 30 seconds, sir.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Go ahead. You've got 30 seconds. What's your last word?
We need to understand that we have debunked the idea that vaccine is nothing biblical against the vaccine. For me, 587 deaths is 587 deaths too much. 38,848 persons tested positive. That means that there are over 40, maybe 50,000. That is too much. Wisdom must speak in all of this. What we want to know, and we hope that we can get, is the efficacy of the vaccines on the market. The safety is already established, and we need to be able to move forward in this new norm that we have. And we need to recognize, I think we have all accepted, that the vaccine can indeed prevent hospitalization. Right now, there are 474 persons in hospital, 68 moderately ill, 39 critical. The hospitals are full to capacity and running over. The health system, if we cannot put a stop to it, will collapse. Ladies and gentlemen, wisdom must speak. Faith and science work together. None oppose the other. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bishop Pitkin. What you know, time is upon us. We know we haven't covered all the ground. We probably just whet some appetites, but we're happy to do what we have done by bringing some enlightenment, hopefully.
Yeah.
And yes, did I hear somebody?
Yes, I just wanted to answer quickly. Coronavirus is not new. It is not new. It's on your Lysol spray. What we have is a different version of it, a mutant. And come next year, we're going to have a different mutant.
Right.
And the year after, we're going to have a different mutant. In 2000, we had a different mutant.
May I have my 30 seconds, please?
Okay, just a moment, Narcisse. Let him finish the point. Right.
I want to make this.
Okay, since we've lost him, we're going to move on.
Mr. Moderator.
Yes, sir.
Hello. I'm still.
Yeah.
We're having some technical
30 seconds.
problems
I
there.
think
Dr.
Hunter has had his tons of 30 seconds.
Okay, we're going to.
I need a second.
I can hear myself clearly.
Hello. Dr. Hunter, we'll have to keep you there for tonight. I'm afraid Pan is not going to allow us, and I'm going to get the other person who's trying to speak. I'm trying to pick up the voice.
Yeah, Anthony here.
Okay, Anthony, go right ahead, sir. You're 30 seconds.
Yes, well, my 30 seconds is that I've listened to Dr. Hunter, and he has given a myriad of excuses why the vaccine should not use or implemented. What I have not heard from Dr. Hunter is a myriad of solutions as to the solving of the COVID-19. And there must be. Well, I don't know. You have had a multiplicity of opportunities, and you have not done so.
Let him speak. Dr. Hunter, please.
Allow me to finish, Dr. Hunter. And finally, there must be some good legal reasons, social reasons, and medical reasons why so many countries in the world have decided, including UK and the United States, why the vaccine should be used for the benefit, health, and safety of our people in the world.
Hello.
May I use my 30 seconds now, please?
Yes,
Derval?
please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Brothers and sisters, we've spent the last 2 hours having a conversation about whether we are responsible one for the other, about whether what happens to our neighbors is of significance to ourselves. 580 plus of our neighbors, fellow citizens, church brothers, church sisters, nurses, doctors, police persons, children, babies, etc., have died within a year, in fact, most of that 500 and something persons have died in less than a year. There is a pandemic. It is a communicable disease. The God you serve endows men and women of science with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and with methodologies that have been tried and true. Yes, it is an individual choice, but consider that your grandparent may and not survive. Your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. Consider.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I won't be able to take you right now, Dr. Hunter. The time is upon us. We have to wrap up. Before we do that, though, I think Astor Black needs to take his 30 seconds before we say goodbye from the show tonight. Astor.
I think Dr. Hunter has confused the nation, and to everyone who is listening to us right now, you've totally confused the people again. And your rhetoric is like you're brainwashing people to stay away from the vaccine. Now, it is a new normal.
Let us deal with the issues and not.
It's a new normal right now.
I request to respond, Mr. Chairman.
We have to cope with
it.
Dr. Hunter, please let him finish. Let him finish. Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
We have to cope with the new normal, and to bring back economic prosperity into focus. We have to go along with the scientists, and I appreciate what your colleague, other doctors spoke about. The proofs are there, and let us work with it. Let us not confuse the population, especially here in Jamaica. We need to get back to our social gatherings. The people are suffering from low economic strength. Let us work together and make it right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I'm afraid I know we haven't covered all the ground. Time constraints. We really have gone over time now. We must wrap it up here. I want to thank everybody who's participated. I want to thank you for listening and watching. I'm going to hand you over to your host now, Shawani Blair.
Thank you, Derval. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Big thanks to our guests, Dr. Lucien Jones, Dr. Roger Hunter, Evangelist Hurley Till, and Bishop Conrad Pitkin. Our probers, Carl Narcisse, Chad Rattray, Anthony Williams, Angelique Cohen, Shanique Rowe, and Astor Black. And might I add, we tried to get someone from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. No one was available for tonight's town hall, but we do thank the ministry, as always, for their support. Thanks to Derval, moderator Kathy Gaylor, producer, assistant production, TJ Edwards, director and switching Nadine Blair. Thanks to George, thanks to Nissan, thanks to Jonathan. Thanks, Jonathan. I'm Shivani Blair. Big thanks to our sponsors too, our friends at the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Garden Life, and our friends at Manchester Cooperative Credit Union. Let's keep the conversation going on the COVID-19 vaccine. This is Love. Good night.
Hello.
Hello?
Goodbye.
Goodbye? What are you doing?
I'm saying hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry.
Oh, I'd like to say that too.
Well, with Guardian Life's new ultimate provider, you can secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness ahead of time and benefit from their investment portfolio too.
Wow, so it's hello peace of mind
and goodbye worry with Guardian Life's new ultimate provider. For more information, contact 888-367-5433 or talk to one of our representatives. Guardian Life. Live secure. Live.
Manchester Cooperative Credit Union has been serving the parish of Manchester for over 70 years. Since then, our products and services have evolved to suit your changing needs. You've made us your choice as a sound financial partner, and today we stand proud of our achievements, satisfied members, and a name that is respected across the industry. Thank you, Manchester, for making us your financial institution of choice. Not yet a member? Come on board with us. We are Manchester Cooperative Credit Union, where service exceeds expectation.
If ever there was a time to take care of your mental health, it is now.
Now, when your physical health so clearly impacts your emotional health.
Now, when we need to talk and listen to each other.
Now, when supporting each other means survival.
Now, in a time of COVID-19.
Speak up. Speak now.
Beat COVID-19.
Call 888-NEW-LIFE, 639-5433.